Buenos días, mucho gusto. Soy mujer maya Kaqchikel, profesional de trabajo social.
Good morning and nice to meet you. I am a Maya Kaqchikel leader and social worker.
Los grupos de mujeres del área rural, especialmente mejorando su condición y calidad de vida.
I live in Chimaltenango and I work with groups of women living in rural areas, improving their quality of life, overall health, education, and community development.
Comunidades más vulnerables en el sistema de Guatemala, con pocos accesos a educación y medios de vida.
I enjoy working with the villages with women, children, and young people. They are some of the most vulnerable members of society here in Guatemala. There is very little access to healthcare, education, and employment. We know that the indigenous population continues to lack even basic resources, especially in the isolated rural communities.
Especialmente los niños menores de 5
I am committed to the social and community development, facilitating groups of young women in leadership programs, promoting better access to education, and seeking to improve the health of children under 5 years old who suffer from chronic malnourishment.
Temas de derechos humanos, participación de las mujeres, liderazgo también.
I am a mother of 2 children. I also lead workshops about human rights, political participation, and economic entrepreneurship for women.
Una situación, una crisis social y política, especialmente
Guatemala is currently going through a socio-political crisis involving the Attorney General's office, which is the highest authority in Guatemala and is headed by Consuelo Porras.
De estos profesionales que están
There is clear demand from the population for the resignation of Consuelo Porras, as well as other government officials, because they have violated the rights of Guatemalans, especially in regards to the recent elections.
También a través de este allanamiento la población se ha pronunciado que ha sido han sido violentados los derechos, ¿verdad?, civiles, sociales y políticos también. Estas manifestaciones se han dado por mucha corrupción en Guatemala.
After finding this out, the population has declared that they have violated our civil, social, and political rights. These protests are happening because of extreme corruption in Guatemala. The president has not appeared or responded in 8 days. And well, it is a very difficult situation because those in power have not managed to remove these people from their positions. In this case, firing these individuals could lead to changes that would create a better Guatemala. Until that happens, the people have risen up, protesting peacefully, demanding that the Guatemalan government remove these employees to improve the justice system. If we watch the local and national news, we see the people were organized by the Women's Collective, Human Rights Collective, Organization of Campesinos, and especially indigenous people. They have all shown up in a permanent, peaceful protest that will last for an undetermined amount of time. The Maya, Kaqchikel, Tz'utujil, and Mam areas, as well as the linguistic communities in the northern and western regions, have all joined this protest to demand an explanation in front of the human rights organization and the justice system in Guatemala. They need to remove these people from their positions so that there is some transparency when it comes to citizenship, elections, and the new president-elect. These people who have been in power don't allow transparency when it comes to the incoming government. There have been many political attacks and social attacks against these leaders.
Contra estos líderes, y entonces por primera vez en Guatemala se ha elegido a un presidente pues democráticamente también y de forma transparente, y eso al gobierno no le ha gustado porque siempre han
For the first time in Guatemala, a president has been elected democratically and transparently. And the current government doesn't like this because usually the only candidates who could rise to power are corrupt and aligned with them. This is not the vision of the newly elected government. Another demand is regarding the Monsanto Law that Congress is about to approve, a law where native seeds of corn, beans, and other species would be limited and genetically modified seeds from other countries that would be introduced, eliminating all the native seeds. This is another health risk and nourishment of everyone in Guatemala. This is one of their demands. Because the community now understands everything that is happening, a large movement has formed. It started a week ago, and tomorrow is the 8th day.
Comunidades, líderes, mujeres, niños, familias completas se han levantado para poder.
The transportation sector, social movements, students, communities, leaders, women, children, and entire families have all risen up to protest and demand action from the government. As long as there is no response to the demands of the people, the protests will continue.
Incluso la destitución.
The removal of the Attorney General can be done by the President, but he has not acted, and this has drastically affected everything.
También comentar estos dos últimos días.
I would also like to comment that starting on Friday, we have been experiencing food shortages. The transportation of food and gas has been completely paralyzed by the general population that has been called to support this cause in one way or another. This is for all the people of Guatemala, not just one group of protesters.
Entonces eso ha perjudicado la economía local. Yo lo veo desde el punto de vista.
This is hurting the local economy. I can see it personally from where I live. We are not able to travel to work. We don't have enough food. The banks and gas stations are closed.
Y esto perjudica desde el
This is harming everyone from the campesinos, business owners, farmers, artists, because we can't transport our products locally from one city to another.
Esto ha hecho una crisis económica de pérdidas de millones de quetzales para los y las guatemaltecas. Por último, la demanda que tiene la población.
This is hurting the local economy. I can see it personally from where I live. We are not able to travel to work. We don't have enough food. The banks and gas stations are closed. This is harming everyone from the farmers, business owners, and artists because we can't transport our products locally from one city to another. So this is creating an economic crisis, causing Guatemalans to lose millions of quetzales. The population is demanding that the government remove these leaders to improve the justice system using transparency. But if they don't act accordingly, the population will remain in resistance long term for who knows how long. It is unknown when or if the Constitutional Court will respond. The demands are clearly stated, but the government has not listened at all. They do not want to give any answers, so this is hurting everyone when it comes to work, health, and economic development. But the people in Guatemala, as you know, are very supportive. They stand in solidarity by sharing food and water with those at the protests and highway blockades. Because there has been no response from the government, this is going to continue for more days. What we don't know is, what can the government say tomorrow after not showing up at all during this first week?